Caroline Hurst from Childnet, which advises children on internet safety. Good evening, Caroline. Good to see you. We've talked a lot on this programme about keeping children safe online, and we've dished out the advice about parents needing to know what they're up to and needing to know how the games work. Let's talk about that moment when a child thinks, I'm going to go and meet this person I met online. Is that ever right?
No. It's never right. It's really important that young people have in their heads that they shouldn't agree to meet up with someone that they've only been talking to on the internet, and they should never agree to meet up with them in the offline world. How
can a parent or guardian then get that particular point across?
Enforcing it by talking first about how that child uses the internet, that particular child, because they might not be talking to strangers on gaming websites, for example. Once they get that conversation flowing, which hopefully is a positive conversation, because we know today how wonderful technology is, hopefully through those conversations that parent can constantly remind that child of the messages they learnt in primary school, not to give personal information out to strangers that they meet on the streets, and never agree to go home with them, for example.
And the other thing is, at first glance, you hear this story and you think, oh, it's going to be a much older man grooming, if you like, a 14-year-old. It wasn't the case here. There's only 5 years age gap between them, and we don't know what was going through the teenager's mind when he decided to go and meet the man who killed him. But you might guess that when you're meeting another teenager, it's not going to be the same as, well, as the bogeyman we all hear about.
And that's something that we need to be aware of when we're online. Sometimes the people that we're talking to on the internet aren't who they say they are, and that's when questions need to come into play. And that's when we never give away personal information and we never agree to meet up with someone.
I know recently you met a group of 12-year-olds who all get an awful lot out of playing games online. Was it useful, perhaps for them, perhaps for their parents, to have that sort of third party, an intermediary like you coming in and talking to them?
My job, I'm very lucky in the way that I get to go into a school and talk to young children about the use of the internet, how they love to use it. So one of the things I love about my job is I talk about the positive things that the internet can have. And with these 12-year-olds, these young boys that I was talking to all day, we had great conversations at length about how great the internet was. And yes, that third party of myself, I could advise them, a new, fresh face, talking to them about some of the rules that they need to remember when they're on the internet.